Have you ever looked for something and just haven't been able to find it? When I was younger, I wore gas-permeable contact lenses, and one night I was hiking in the forest with some teenagers, and my contact popped out of my eye. There we were, rummaging around in leaves and pine needles, doing it in the dark by flashlight, looking for something that would allow me to see, and almost having an impossible search. In that particular case, I happened to find the contact, but it was quite unusual that we were able to do that. Some people know the feeling of looking for lost golf balls, lost earrings, lost car keys, things that you have misplaced and are unable to find, an address, a telephone number. But I wonder if there's something more significant that you feel that you have lost. It's one thing to look for something that you know what you're looking for, you know what it looks like, and you even have an idea of where you lost it. But it's quite another thing to look for something when you don't exactly know what it is that you're looking for and you're not sure where to find it. Many of us have feelings of an incompleteness in our lives. We have the feeling for most of us that there's something lacking, something that we have yet to achieve. Like a woman longing to become a mother, many of us long for something that we're not able to put our finger on and know what it actually is.
If I were going to ask what the meaning of life is, I would ask the question, what is life all about? Why do I exist? What do I have to look forward to in the end? What would make me happy? What keeps me happy?
Over the years, people have searched for many things and have come up empty. We try to search for things like money and possessions, and yet it seems that whenever we get the latest gadget or we get the raise or we get just a little bit more money, a few more square feet in the house or perhaps a new car, any of the things that we think will bring us significance, we come to the end and we find out that it's just as meaningless as it was when we began. We always want something more. We always want something better. We always want something a little bit more than what we already have.
I used to think that if I had just enough money, that would satisfy. And I was in a business, commercial real estate, and at a period of time where there were big commissions, and I got a significant commission. In fact, it was probably more than my dad would made in 30 or 40 years of work, and I made it in one day.
Well, I have a career of helping people with their investments, and people that need to know the best place to put their savings so it'll be there for them in the future. And I've observed people that have made a lot of money, who have chased their careers at the expense of many things in their life, their families, their health, their spiritual life. And I've seen some people get very comfortable in their life with money. But I've never met anybody who had joy.
And it just became insignificant. This tremendous idea that I had of how exhilarating I would be to get that kind of money disappointed me. I wasn't excited at all.
When I was a young man and not having a father, and I needed a father figure to validate me as a person, one thing I discovered is that even though I searched and looked and found certain qualities in men that I looked up to and respected, that still didn't fill that void that I had within myself to really give Sultan Cole and show Sultan Cole his true purpose.
A number of people who I think are looking for relationships to fulfill them. They're looking for the perfect woman. They're looking for the perfect man. They're not out there. There's a number of people who look for just fame, whatever that means in their world. You know, that I'm the best accountant, or I'm the best lawyer, or I'm the best doctor, or I'm the whatever, that they get recognition. So that we're looking for recognition. We're looking for, and I think it's our pride a lot of times that leads us to do that, because we want to be the best.
You may go through life thinking that you're the only one. You're the only one lost. You're the only one confused. You're the only one dissatisfied. You look around at others and you think that they have it together, that they have found the meaning that they're searching for, that they have direction in life. When in fact, you're probably not alone at all. Many people are searching for meaning. Some people feel satisfied most of the time. They like their life. They're basically happy. But I wonder, have we actually settled?
I think people have settled for something far short of what God has created them to be. After all, Jesus said, I came that you might have life and have it abundantly.
There was a commercial on TV one time about a guy who was advertising some cereal, and he said, have you ever eaten a pine tree? Many parts are edible. I suppose that's useful information to know if you're lost out in the forest somewhere and you need it to survive. But sometimes I think many of us settle for eating a pine tree when God has this vast cafeteria with all-you-can-eat buffet right around the corner. Why would we want to eat the edible parts of a pine tree whenever we could just go get our tray and feast at his banquet table? Many of us try to snack on popularity. We try to feed on power or position or prestige. We look for relationships and other people to satisfy us, and yet at the very end of the day, we're just as incomplete as we were when we started. The things that we thought would satisfy us don't satisfy us at all, and we're still empty. In conversation after conversation, people have talked about achieving the goals that they've set for themselves, but when they ask the question, well, what next? There's always a what next out there. It's not an ending. There's not something that fulfills. There's nothing that satisfies. What is the meaning of all of this? For centuries, we answered that question in terms of ourselves. It's about what we can achieve. It's about what we can do. It's what we can accomplish. It's what we can use to find pleasure or comfort. That whole worldview began to fall into disrepute a few years ago. I believe there were two incidents that really had an impact on it. The first was the explosion of the space shuttle, the Challenger. When it blew up in the sky, we began to realize with our very best effort, our very best scientists and engineers, that we're simply fallible human beings and that maybe we don't have all of the answers to life. Another thing that happened was the fall of the Berlin Wall. With the fall of the Berlin Wall, many people understood that communism, as expressed by the old Soviet Union, also fell. In that political system, God was not needed. As a matter of fact, God was unwelcomed. He was seen as a crutch. He was seen as an opiate of the people. He was seen as an unnecessary factor of life only for those who were weak. And yet in that process, we still searched for something. We were looking for meaning. We were looking for fulfillment. We were looking for something that would soothe the spiritual nature that inhabits every one of us as God's creatures. We even began to realize that we were not solutions to the problems, but rather we were the problem itself. We realized that for every problem we solved, we created 10 others. In our achievements in technology, we created a pollution in the environment that we had to clean up. For every time that we achieved some material good, we realized that we were leaving children at home unattended and they weren't receiving the care and the attention that they needed. Life is tough. It's hard to find meaning out there somewhere, especially when you don't even know what it looks like. A theologian many years ago said that there was a void in our heart that was shaped like God. And you can try to fill that void up with many things, but you're going to come up empty until you fill it with the one thing that fits the void. The Bible tells us that God has set eternity in our hearts. There's something that we long for that makes us realize that life is more than just about us. It's more than what we see. It's more than what is visible.
And I know that Jesus is who he says he is because he made himself real to me when I wasn't even searching for him.
He refuses for you to be lost, and he's searching for you. And so don't be lost, be found.
Our goal and our prayer for you is that you would find a meaningful life, that you would find the relationship that God offers.